Alright guys, welcome back to After Dark Files. I've got a great video for you tonight. Just a content warning before we get into this video. This video discusses mass violence, no gore, no sensationalism. We will be breaking down the story of George Sodini. A lot of what I get into in this video, the writings and stuff that he had on his computer. I think there's a little bit of video as well. It's quite interesting. Let's get into it.
Log on to Usenet 5 and click on the weather. Sign up for your severe forecast alert.
And whenever dangerous weather is about to strike, you'll get a warning on your pager.
Cable premieres go south of the border to the location of the new HBO movie Double Crossed.
Shadyside, Ohio, devastated by a flash flood. Death, injuries, many missing.
We have two tales of terror and death to tell you tonight from two different parts of the world.
Authorities in Stockton are on the lookout for an arsonist who set 3 separate fires this morning.
Inside, small pine boxes containing 45-inch steel caskets to be placed in cement crypts.
The World Wide Web. A void unquantifiable. An endless frontier full of wonder, discovery, and mystery. From 3D games engrossed in urban legends to some of the most disturbing archival insights into the human mind, the internet has it all. You just have to venture out a bit to find its dark side. In the early days of YouTube, a channel entered the digital space. It was titled MOSB46PGH, and it served as a hub for home videos uploaded by a man named George Sodini. He hasn't uploaded in a while, but we'll get to why later. What we need to know now is that this man lived a seemingly simple life, sharing videos of him talking to the camera and giving his viewers an inside look into his home. It is, by every measure, a product of early YouTube, a reminder of an era in which content was much simpler and innocuous than it is today. While at a cursory glance, nothing about George's content seems all that strange, it's when we really begin to dissect what exactly it is that he says and alludes to where things become a bit weird. Take a look.
My car is an 07 Altima. I paid $79,000 for this in 1996. That's considered a lot, believe it or not. Okay, we're approaching the door. Open it up. Oh, someone left it unlocked. That's not good. Inside, okay. Here's my big screen TV. 32-inch. It's my computer.
Them old ones.
A little bit.
First off, you may be noticing a pattern here. George continuously makes passing references to the allure of his personal items. He states his vehicle's price. He shows us his 32-inch big screen TV, and it's become clear that this video is meant to boast. But why?
Computer is connected to the stereo, which I listen to my MP3s and everything else. Pan to the other side. Speakers on each side are large. They double as end tables. Okay, couch and chair, they match. The woman will really be impressed. Okay, come over here. There's some reading material that we're all familiar with.
Office politics.
Come out here through the dining room. I just bought this. Dining room set.
Sodini pans down to his table after making a remark about women being impressed. to which we can see a stack of documents and 2 curious novels.
Date young women. What?
Young women for men over 35 and body language secrets. Interesting.
Dude's a little weird if you ask me.
As we continue to scan through his videos, it becomes abundantly clear that George carries an undying fixation towards women. He's a man who hasn't been with a partner in God knows how long, and he seems to be persistently trying and failing at dating women much younger than he. It's clear
That's the
that
problem.
he's faced rejection multiple times before, evident by his books and lack of awareness that monetary wealth doesn't necessarily equate to attractiveness. In essence, these videos show that he's painfully out of touch, and while he would only ever upload just 2 videos to his channel during its short tenure, he would later crop up in other areas across the net. Throughout the years, George would carve out his own little corner of the internet. He would host a website called GeorgeSodini.com, and at first glance, it's most of what you'd expect from an early 2000s website. It carries a simple layout, his name and location, various photos from his life. It was a humble virtual abode that resembled the countless other personal websites out there, and for a while, there was never anything suspect about it. Curiously though, sometime in 2008, a new webpage would silently crop up. And it's a simple link, titled Life or Death. My birth and death dates. Take a guess.
What?
For any unsuspecting user online, this might come off as some sort of random guessing game. Admittedly, the internet had seen much weirder shit by this point in time. However, I wanted to bring up this page specifically because the date of death question here actually contains a correct answer. You see, George Sodini isn't exactly a good person, and what lies behind this otherwise simple question is a glance into the mind of a man deeply disturbed.
Deeply disturbed. This mug is crazy.
Was planning something, and not a single person who knew him had any idea about it.
Dude, strange.
On the night of August 4th, 2009, George had made his way to the LA Fitness in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. Earlier that day, he had visited twice to look around. Yet this time, he had something with him. He entered the gym with a duffel bag at 7:56 p.m. and after checking in, he made his way to the gym studio that was in the midst of kicking off their nightly aerobics class. Thereafter, he walked in, cut the lights, grabbed 2 9mm pistols, and fired 36 shots into the crowd.
Bro, man, that's crazy. Dude did too much. Like, why?
The scene was a complete nightmare. Screams echoed throughout the air. Victims began to flee in a frenzy. Nobody ever expects this. Amidst the chaos, Sodini grabs a .45 caliber revolver from his bag, and during the next few seconds, he holds it to his head and takes his own life.
My man needed help.
Police left the scene here at the LA Fitness in Collier Township, just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the early morning hours today. They have been investigating a shooting that took place shortly after 8 o'clock on Tuesday. They say a man walked into an aerobics classroom where more than 20 people were taking a class and opened fire.
That night, 3 women had died and 9 others were injured in what can only be described as one of the most disturbing and heartless acts of violence that I have ever read about. Young adults, mothers, and fathers were all there just to get a workout, to make themselves happier and more physically fit. Yet it was all shattered by an intensely depraved man. Like we touched on, all of this was premeditated long before it happened, and the date of the tragedy, August 4th of 2009, would, as you'd expect, unlock an entirely new and secret layer of Sodini's website. Why do this to young girls? Just read below. Moving into Christmas again. No girlfriend since 1984. Last Christmas with Pam was...
Alright. This is by George Sodini, age 48. He was born in 1960. What I notice right off the bat here is he's also got his date of death put on here. So, I mean, he wrote this and added his date of death. He knew he was going to do this. This was totally planned. So all the brothers can each have one for 3 or 6 months or so. Now he wrote this paragraph November the 5th, 2008. And this next paragraph he wrote December the 22nd, 2008. Time is moving along. Plan to have this done already. I will just keep running log here as time passes. Many of the young girls here look so beautiful as to not be human. Very edible. Very edible? What? After joining this gym, started lifting weights and like it. Much info about weight programs, diet, etc. on the web, or anything for that matter. Instead of TV, I can Google for hours to relax. TV and most movies are dull. And then 2 days later, on December 24th, 2008, he says, moving into Christmas again. No girlfriend since 1984. Gosh, that's a long ass time. Last Christmas with Pam was in 1983. Who knows why? I am not ugly or too weird. No sex since July 1990 either. Over 18 years ago. Oh my God, man. This man hadn't had a girlfriend since 1984. 2008 minus 1984. What's the math on this? I gotta know how long this man went without intimacy. Like, that's crazy. This man went 24 years with no girlfriend. I mean, I feel bad for the guy in a lot of ways. And as far as I'm not ugly or too weird, I mean, I'm not judging the guy's looks. I don't know if he's ugly or not. I don't judge guys like that, but he's definitely weird. For him to even put too weird in there, he has to know he's fucking weird, man. No sex since July 1990. Wow. And he goes on to say, and did it maybe only 50 to 75 times in my life. Getting to think that a woman now would just get in the way of things. Isolated. I have extra money and enjoy traveling too. With my 25, 30 days of vacation. LA was the best. But going alone is not too fun. Invited to a party on Christmas Day tomorrow. Seems about 15 to 25 people will actually show. I like her parties. I can meet new people and talk. Got the next 8 days off. I should have exit plan done and practiced by then. I know nothing will change, no matter how hard I try or what goals I set. December 28th, 2008. He says, I'm glad I stayed around. All these days off are great. I will shoot for Tuesday, January the 6th, 2009. Maybe 8:15. I have a list of to-do items to make. Then on December 29th, 2008, He says, just got back from tanning. Been doing this for a while. No gym today. My elbow is sore again. I actually look good. I dress good. Am clean shaven. Bathed. Touch of cologne. Yet 30 million women rejected me over an 18-25 year period. That is how I see it. 30 million is my rough guesstimate of how many desirable single women there are. A man needs a woman for confidence. He gets a boost on the job, career, with other men, and everywhere else when he knows inside he has someone to spend the night with and who is also a friend. This type of life I see is a closed world with me specifically and totally excluded. Every other guy does this successfully to a degree. Flying solo for many years is a destroyer, yet many people say I'm easy to get along with. I can't read the rest of it. They cut it off. Wow, man. I just want to say this is really sad in a lot of ways. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. In a way, in a slight way, I feel bad for the guy because it's obvious he didn't know how to create a bond. He didn't know how to create an interest. And then if she thinks that you're weird, it's probably not going to get very far. Anyways, let's continue.
For months, George objectified and chronicled his struggles with women. He expressed a growing frustration with how he couldn't get them to like him. He documents his pent-up rage and hatred towards those that could find love. And he even mulls over his so-called exit plan for nearly a year. I took off today, Monday, and tomorrow to practice my...
Okay, so then it skips down to this page here. I'm going to start here at the very top. It says, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm getting tired. Feels good to write and get it all out. Another thought. I had 20 years of sobriety and achieved nothing about friendships, girlfriends, guys, etc. Zilch. What a waste. Bye for today. Then on August the 2nd, 2009, he says, the biggest problem of all is not having relationships or friends, but not being able to achieve and acquire what I desire in those or many other areas. Everything stays the same regardless of the effort that I put in. If I had control over my life, then I would be happier. But for about the past 30 years, I have not. And the very next day, August the 3rd, 2009, he says, I took off today, Monday, and tomorrow to practice my routine and make sure it is well polished. I need to work out every detail. There is only one shot. Also, I need to be completely immersed into something before I can be successful. I haven't had a drink since Friday at about 2:30. Total effort needed. Tomorrow is the big day. Next he says, unfortunately, I talked to my neighbor today who is very positive and upbeat. I need to remain focused and absorbed completely. Last time I tried this in January, I chickened out. Let's see how this new approach works. Maybe soon I will see God and Jesus. At least that is what I was told. Eternal life does not depend on works. If it did, we all will be in hell. Christ paid for every sin. So how can I or you be judged by God for a sin when the penalty was already paid? People judge, but that does not matter. I was reading the Bible and the integrity of God beginning yesterday because soon I will see them. I will try not to add any more entries because this computer clicking distracts me.
Shots. Also, I need to be completely immersed into something before I can be successful. I haven't had a drink since Friday at about 2:30. Total effort needed. Tomorrow is the big day. I talked to my neighbor today, who's very positive and upbeat. I need to remain focused and absorbed completely. Last time I tried this in January, I chickened out. Let's see how this approach works.
When you talk to their families and their friends, you can see their sadness, feel their grief, and that inability to understand why this happened. But each also felt as if their loved ones deserved not to be remembered for the way they died, but for how they lived.
On that fateful night, the lives of Heidi Overmeyer, Elizabeth Gannon, and Jody Billingsley or needlessly ripped from them, forever shattering their families' lives in one of the worst acts imaginable.
And seeing what's really terrible about this is these three women were probably really great women. They look to be each in their mid-30s to early 40s, probably already married. You know, I mean, these just probably very good women. I mean, they look like they were great. I don't know who they were personally, but I like to think that most people are decent people. He took out his anger and feelings of rejection on these three women.
It's horrifying to think that something as simple as a workout can turn into a situation so deadly, and I cannot even fathom the panic that unfolded thereafter. George Sodini was a man who carried unbridled hatred and jealousy, and looking into his website and YouTube channel gives us an eerie glance into his life. I truly hope that today the victims' families are holding up okay, although I cannot even imagine the void that's been left in all of their hearts. Never again will this monster walk the earth, though, and I hope that at the very least, grants them a sliver of solace.
Alright guys, that's all I've got for tonight's episode. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you next time.